Hi, Michael Sheridan here, and welcome to So You Think You're Awake. The theme this week is going to be karma, because I've got quite a few dreams on that subject that I've collected over the weeks that you've sent in. Of course, other dreams will be thrown in too. If you want your dream done, send it to radioshow@dream-analysis.com or text them from your smartphone to 206-708-7254. If you want to come on air, phone the station on 425-373-5527. That's 425-373-5527. You can find all these details and more on my website at dream-analysis.com/kknw. And that includes links to the audio archives to listen to past shows. Okay, so for the reason for picking karma as a theme was, of course, I had a workshop last weekend, and that's one of the subjects that we cover. And that went really well. Thanks to everybody who came to that. I don't think I've laughed so hard in such a long time, but it was great as all inaugural ones are the first class in our newly renovated workshops. So really, really good that it went so well. But Julie sends in a dream. And I always think when I'm doing dreams, I'm kind of wanting to hold back so that I don't lose a listener. And at the same time, if I don't say what the dream is about, there's no point in you sending them in. There's no point me half doing them. But Julie's dream is about karma, and it's a very short one. She says, "Me and my husband are in a parked car in front of our house. We are asleep. I wake up and look at my watch. It is 9:06. I'm late for work. I hurry out of the car to get ready." And that's the dream. Always interesting in a dream when you see time, like 9:06, how precise and specific that is. But okay, the first thing is the dream is about your relationship, because it's you with your partner. So everything that we describe in the dream relates to the relationship. So when you see parked car, and we use cars in reality to get us to where we need to go. So in dreams, they can represent going somewhere or achieving a goal or an ideal. And here, when it's connected with your relationship, saying you're in a parked car, it's saying your relationship is going nowhere. And this isn't a past thing. If the parked car was in the back of the house, that would be fine. You'd say, okay, you had problems in the past, but this is in the front of your house. So it's saying right now the relationship is going nowhere. And if you didn't get that from the parked car, you would also get it from we are asleep. So again, not going anywhere. I wake up to look at my watch. The watch is to do with, well, time in dreams is also indicative of karma. But now we'll see why your car is in the dream too. The car is a pun on karma, and quite often is in dreams. Not always, but quite often. And you say you're late for work. And this being late, knowing that there is we subconsciously know, not subconsciously, but when we sleep at night time, our soul leaves our bodies and we meet our guides and others on the astral plane and have dialogues, and we explain where we are in terms of our development and what we plan to do, where we are now compared to all of that. And we can then have a dream that will remind us of this when we get back into our bodies. And in the dream, we realize we're late and that we had work to do and we haven't done it and we need to rush. And of course, that's okay. It only indicates karma. It doesn't really mean that you're not going to get the work done. But anyway, there's the car in this dream represents karmic. And hurrying to get out of the car is asking you to get off the karmic path. And that's really nice to see in a dream. It's one of the only nice things in this dream. Always nice to see. But the 6 also represents the same thing. 6 represents the dharmic path, and the 9 in your dream says, this is your last necessary earth life if you do what you know you came here to do. So it's a real kick in the ass type dream. And it's one of those things that this is where you can annoy people. Spiritually, marriages and relationships, well, imagine, forget marriage and just imagine they're all relationships and there's never marriage involved. We have no problem getting into a relationship, being in a relationship for 6 years and then leaving that relationship. Nobody looks on that and says anything bad. It's only when the institution, and I emphasize institution of marriage, gets involved, that people can look at that and say, oh, well, this is a commitment and it should be looked at differently. It should not be looked at differently than just a regular relationship. And your spirit helpers, your guides, and the spirit world, they don't look at it differently. If a relationship has no spiritual value for you whatsoever, your dreams will ask you to leave that relationship. Now, there are relationships that may appear to be wrong for lots of reasons, but they can be a karmic relationship, and your dreams will tell you and your guides will tell you you need to stay in that one. So we don't always know the situation from our perspective, but in this dream, because it's saying get out of the car and get onto the dharmic path, it's saying leave karma, to make choices in your life that you know are going to be about your spiritual well-being and increase your awareness. So what else have we got in here that I've made notes on? You're meant to get on the dharmic path. I already covered that. So there are two dharmic path. There are two ways of living our lives. Karma is one, and dharma is the other. Dharma is known by many other things. Living in a state of grace or on the Christ consciousness path. It's nothing to do with Christ. It's just Christ in what it stands for, meaning the path of light. But we almost all start off on the karmic path, and many of us stay on it all our lives. The vast majority of us. It's assured of success. It's not what we quite often hear people saying, that karma is where you get back whatever you give out 10 times over. That's not what karma is about. Karma is a way of learning about yourself and increasing your awareness through experiencing life. And the experiences quite often are dramatic, very emotional. You could lose a child, or you could win the lotto, so there's highs and lows on the karmic path. But the experience and how it affects your life is how you're going to learn about yourself. You'll either learn from the experience now during your life, or you will learn from it during your life review, when you get to see how it affected you and what you could have done to change things in your life. The dharmic path, just for comparison, is totally different. It's living in a state of grace with an open and compassionate heart, where you're not judging other people. How many of us are able to do that? So this is one of the reasons it's difficult to get onto. Free will is back when you're on the dharmic path, and you choose your direction in life because you know what's best for you. And it can seem crazy to your friends and loved ones, because you might leave a real high-paying job and work with the homeless, or take a career that has no income. And so for them it seems crazy, but for you it all makes sense because you know why you're doing it. Anyway, we might get more details and stuff like that later on, but that's Julie's dream, our ex-listener. The next dream comes from Anita. She says, I dreamt I was on the beach with some friends. There was 4 of us. One of my male friends was telling us excitedly to get in the car that was there. Car again, here's karma. A white box-shaped car that looked like it was old, put together by hand and perhaps not safe. Okay, so we do put our path together by hand. We plan everything we need on our life before we even make the journey. And we rehearse before we're even born. So we have everything planned, and we have our own hand involved in all that planning too. So the beach here in this dream is about your spiritual approach. And I know Anita works in the spiritual field for many years. So this is going to be about something specific. And I would imagine it's about your writing, since I know that's the only thing that you hold yourself back on. So if we relate it all to writing. So it's your approach to that, because it's on the beach. There's 4 of us, so something is limiting you, which is what 4 is about. You're limiting yourself, but you're still limiting. One of my male friends was telling us excitedly to get in the car that was there. So it's about needing confidence to pursue this path. It is safe. Like in the dream you say it's not safe, but it is safe. It had no roof. Now that's good in a dream, because it's about having an open mind to things. My friend said, watch this, and the car started to move towards the sea. The sea represents spirituality, or the spirit world. So it's you're moving, following your approach right into something that's spiritual, which we'll assume is your writing again. The sea was a beautiful colour blue, particularly just where the sand met the water. That's nice. So, okay, we can have an approach to spiritual things or spiritual gifts and still not be doing them. So where it meets the water is when you actually start doing it. The sea was a beautiful colour. I landed in the sea. I was suddenly propelled into the air. I was suspended stationary in the sky for a few seconds where it was hazy. Of course, stationary has to do with writing here. It comes up in many dreams about writing. We write on stationary. Anyway, at least we used to. People that are my age used to. It's all computers now. And it was very quiet and surreal. Okay, so it's saying, okay, you're saying it's hazy, quiet and surreal. So it's saying, okay, when it comes to this writing, you're not really sure what you need to do. Things are up in the air, just like in the dream you're up in the air. And you've suspended it for that reason. And it's kind of surreal. So it's saying, get into this. It's going to feel this way at the start. It's going to feel hazy. But even in that state, like in the dream you say, I knew I'd be okay, even though I couldn't swim. Then I fell quickly into the water, went under, but was able to surface very quickly. So when you do this, you're going to feel like you've gone under, But again, you will surface quickly, and that's perfect. One of your female friends was there in the water when you surfaced, and we laughed at how much fun it all was. So that's perfect. Get into your writing, or whatever it happens to be, but get into your writing, because that's it is going to be fun, and you're going to enjoy it, despite the hazy start and the feeling like it's too much. It's a bit overwhelming, which is head underwater can appear in a dream. So I have another 2 dreams from the same person. Her name is Jane, and she says, the title of this is Hunting for the Car. Now you know what that's going to mean at this stage. I knew I had to be at work on time for a specific reason. I had my car repaired a few days previously. Instead of parking it in the underground garage, I decided to leave the car on the street, thinking I would get a faster start when I needed it. I went out to the street but couldn't see the car where I thought I'd left it. I was frantic and started running up and down the side streets searching for it. Eventually I realised the car had been towed, and it would be very expensive to get it out of impound. I went to my mother to tell her the news. She was grey-haired, short, dumpy woman who didn't resemble my real mother. I thought I should call the manager to tell her I would be late for work. So here we have the car representing karma. We have the sense of time and urgency and knowing you're late for work, exactly like in the first dream that I did. So it's such a common theme, it tells us that. And I'm not really going to get much into this because I covered what karma is about, because I've got the next dream that tells us more about this dreamer. I'll just leave it at saying that we have planned milestones in our lives, and we are reminded of them at night, and the reminder can show up in our dreams as feeling like we're late, and that's what's happening in this dream. We know she has issues with her mom because the mom shows up at the end of this dream, and working on these issues is part of your karmic path. The grey hair represents mental denial of emotion. I said I wouldn't get into it, but I did anyway. So this is really another really short one from Jane that tells us the crux of things. And I had another one from Jane that I was going to do, but I'll skip. It's called Dinner in the Basement. I went down to the basement of the house I had lived in as a teenager. My mother, now deceased, was preparing several items for dinner for the family and some invited guests. I offered to carry the plates upstairs where I thought we would eat in the dining room. She shook her head and pointed to a long table set in the corner of the basement where the dinner would occur. So, okay, we already know issues with the mom. And so what have we got? Dinner in the basement when you expected it to be up higher. So basement or below surface in a dream is about something that's below conscious awareness. So, and here it's even easier to say, because your mom has the dinner for the family and invited guests. In other words, not everybody is invited to this, just particular guests. And the dinner is going to be in a corner of the basement. It says, Mom kept things hidden. So she kept things below the surface. And she didn't share easily. And, you know, that's why the dinner is there. The dining room is all about sharing. We sit and eat with others and share about what's going on. It's always lively conversation in a dining room. At least we hope it is. So mom is the one who didn't share easily, and you're affected by that. That's the karmic stuff you have to deal with. Learn how to be open and share yourself, and it's fairly straightforward. And with your mom being deceased, of course, she's going to want to help you at this point in her life and your life, because she can see now how she affected you, and it saves her a lot of karma by helping you in this lifetime. And she's got a higher perspective on things, so she'll be able to help you in a great way. But it saves her having to work on this and repay a debt later on if you can get past this in this lifetime. Okay, I've kept Jerry Lynn hanging on the phone line for a few minutes. I hope she's still there. Hello, Jerry.
Hi, I'm still here.
Okay, great, Jerry Lynn. How are you doing?
Now,
great. You called us before, and again this time you sent me your dreams in advance.
Yes, I do.
So thank you for that. Do you want to share the first dream? You call it the spider, and we'll go over that one.
Okay, it's a pretty short one. I'm just standing outside of a car with the passenger door open, and on the passenger seat is a 3-ring binder, and on top of that is a big spider. So I reach in and I try to squish the spider, and he looks flat, but he pops back up. And so I reach in and I squish him again really hard just to make sure I get it. And, of course, that woke me up. I was like, that freaked me out.
Okay. And you also gave an analysis of this, which actually is accurate, but I can go over it now anyway.
Okay.
It's great when you see something like a 3-ring binder. That symbols like that give us quite a lot. And so, first of all, this car also is about your karmic path. And what is distinctive here is you're not in the driver's seat, you're over at the passenger side. So the dream is encouraging you to overcome your fears, which is what the spider is, or squash your fears, using your own words, and to go after what you're here to do. And the 3-ring binder literally stands for a binding commitment. 3 is to do a commitment. So you have a binding commitment to pursuing your goals, and the rings are going to be about goals. Anything circular in a dream can be goals. Your goals in life and your goals on the path. Now, you already know what your spiritual abilities are, so that's great for you. Mm-hmm. But so the dream is saying, right now, you've had a reprieve. You've given yourself some time off recently, where you said, "Okay, I'm not going to pursue my abilities. I'm not going to use them." And you had been using them for people. So this dream comes along when it says, "Okay, the time is up," which you already knew, and you've started pursuing it again. The time is up, and you now have to squash whatever it was that held you back, whatever fears held you back, represented by the spider, and go after this with a renewed commitment and achieve them, which is really good. So the fact that you have to attempt to kill the spider twice means that it shows your perseverance in pursuing this. You know, that fears are not going to affect you. They will affect you. They make you step back. And when they pop up again, like the way you described this spider raised back up, then you say, okay, well, I'm not going to be stopped by the fear and I'm going to go after it. So it tells us a little bit about your character as well, which is good. So so that's really positive. And was there anything else then in that dream or so that you wanted to cover? Oh, you did mention, am I allowed to say that your partner is a naturopath?
Yes. And, yes.
Very skilled. And he said recently that your kidneys were picking on your heart, is the way he put it. Okay. So kidneys, so this is really interesting because you've 2 dreams were both about your spiritual abilities. And kidneys represent, or problems with them represent denial of spirituality or denial of using your spiritual abilities. So the antidote for you on this is just to pursue your spiritual path, which you are doing, so that's great. And of course, you're wondering if the dream was a comment on a sweat lodge that you were going to be attending this weekend. Mm-hmm. And no, it isn't. It's just about you needing to overcome your fears. And it's not about, whether you need to do the sweat lodge or not do the sweat lodge. That's not really a fear thing. You can decide that yourself. But the dream isn't. There's nothing physical in this dream. There's no physical warnings in this dream. So that's good. When you don't get any physical warnings, there's no physical issues on the cards for you.
Well, that makes me feel better.
Good. So you have another dream. And normally we'd only do one, but I like your 2 dreams because they're both different.
Right. Okay, well, the other one is I'm at my friend's house, who is the spiritual leader that's going to be leading the sweat lodge. We're at her house, and in the front yard is a tree covered with these butterflies that are all purple and silver. They're so beautiful. And all I can do is just stand in awe and just watch them. So eventually we go in the house, and when I turn around and look back out the window, there is a man out there, and he is poking at the butterflies. And I get very upset with this, and I reach through the window, and I arm wrestle with him, trying to make him leave the butterflies alone. And I win, but he gets mad at me, and he goes around to the back door of the house, and he kicks in the door, and he comes towards me, and I see over his shoulder that there are 3 more guys coming in with him that are going to attack me. And, of course, I woke up.
Okay. Now, when you said this dream, originally you said you did get attacked. You did get beaten up.
Yeah.
Okay, so just quickly then, the dream is about major change coming your way because that's what the butterflies signify. Something on a caterpillar lives on the ground or ground level, and when it transforms, has this major transformation, it can soar and fly in the sky. So it's showing a major transformation on the cards for you because it's in the front garden of the house. That's really, really important.
Okay.
And this is something you're to branch into, which is why they're on a tree. They're all over the tree. So it doesn't matter which direction you take, which branch you take. This is what you're going to end up doing. This transformation is going to happen. So this is really good for you.
Okay.
So what's significant then is this man coming along, and of course this is something that's present. He's at the front of the house too. So this is something that's happening now. But he goes around and comes in the back door. So that tells us that this is about issues. It's either issues with a man or grappling with ideas, because men in dreams can often represent logic. But the idea is still going to be connected, or can be connected, with a man in earlier in your life. But it's to do with the past, because he comes in the back door, and the other 3 men that come in with him, making a total of 4, tell us that there's something limiting, because 4 is about limiting, that you're grappling with, that you need to overcome in order for this transformation to take place. And even when you say you did get beaten up in the dream, it's like you're beating yourself up because of this past influence, and that's holding you back. That's the way you look at that in the dream. It's, right, of course, symbolic. Okay. But it's a very good dream. You know, we need to know what it is we have to overcome, and this will be no news to you. You'll be able to look back and say, okay, I know what it is. I know the thoughts, or I know the person, or whatever it happens to be. And knowing that, okay, that's the simple thing. And when I say simple, I mean it's simple when you know what it is. Right. Whereas if you had no clue what you need to work on, then how do you start? So it simplifies it to know what it is, even though in the dream it can seem like quite a shock. Mm-hmm. So they are your dreams.
Good. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for calling. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. So now we have a dream from Bernie, and there's one dream I really want to do later. It's about a doula. So we'll just do Bernie's dream really quickly. I was looking at a football pitch, a soccer pitch, which had frosted over, and you could see the green grass under the layer of frost. Okay, green is to do with the heart. A soccer pitch or football pitch is about pursuing the game of life, or pursuing goals in the game of life, because they score goals only in a soccer match. The game had been suspended due to this bad weather for a long time, maybe even since last year. It was announced that the frost had started to melt and the game would resume. So what did you start last year? And I know in your case, from talking to you, you started a new career. You went back to work. In fact, not even a new career. You went back to work at what you used to work, and dropped what it was you were doing in the spiritual field. And I can't remember exactly what that was. But the dream says that you are now coming into a point where the frost will start to melt and the game will resume. So this game, or pursuing your goals, is going to resume for you. And that's brilliant in a dream. Everyone was very excited. You say it was an All-Ireland game, and everybody wanted to see how it turned out. So the emphasis here is on the importance of your life, which is always nice to see. I mean, the only important life is our own life. There's no other life is more important than our own. We're here to improve our awareness of ourselves. And yes, we will interact and help other people, and we will interact and hold back other people, and vice versa. But from a spiritual perspective, your life is the most important. Your dreams will always scream at you. Don't hold yourself back for anybody else or for any reason, even if it's things that affect you from the past. The game would resume from exactly where it left off. Number 8 player would take a penalty shot and try to land it in the net. Okay, so that's really good. So it's saying, because of previous work done, you're in a perfect position for scoring a goal. So it's not going to be hard for you. Once this thaw starts, and once you get back into this, you're really going to expand yourself, which is what his 8 is about. But you're in, and that's about female expression. 8 is also about female expression, so expression of feelings and so on. But really good dream. You're in a great position to do that. So I am searching forward for this dream about the doula, and I won't say the name. This is a lady I met over the weekend, and she told me this dream, and I knew what the doula meant. I'd never seen that symbol before. And a doula is somebody who is a birthing partner. They're not related to you, but if you've no partner and you've no family with you, you can use a doula to help you while you give birth to your child, to be there with you, to support you in the birth. And giving birth in a dream is about bringing some new positive aspect of you into being, and it's usually a spiritual aspect. Not everything we consider spiritual is like a lot of things that we don't consider spiritual are spiritual, like tolerance, compassion. They're spiritual things. So it can be a lot of things and not be about an ability to heal people or channel or so on. So anyway, this person has a doula in her dream, so it means straight away that she helps other people give birth to their spiritual aspects. And when I asked her if she's done that in the past, she said she has, and she's done it many, many, many times. All the manies, which is really interesting. So she's spiritually helped people give birth to a new life for themselves. Really, really good. So here's the dream. We were all at a house with other people, and my kids and friend David, who is a volunteer director, were there. Now, this is the part I loved, and this is why I looked for this dream. David is a volunteer director, and so are you. You're a volunteer director or a volunteer guide. This dream says you are a guide. Even though you're here on the physical plane, you're a guide. That's got to be a shock to you, but it should make sense. There are people who are here who are guides on the earth plane. They don't necessarily stand out from other people, but it's there are a lot of them here. And over time, I have come across, I wouldn't say 20, but over 25 years, definitely it's gone past 10. And here's another one. And interestingly, a few of them have been here in Western Washington, which is quite interesting. So it's not that common, but here we have it. You have that ability, or you are at that level, which is great. So let's continue with the rest of your dream. A woman was doing some kind of energy healing work, so you've got that ability to do healing work. I came early but had to wait longer for my turn. I was looking for my purse to call my family to tell them I would be a while longer. We had been visiting California and wanted to go somewhere else. Then all of the people before me disappeared. It was my turn. Oh no, the pool I had to go in was deep. I don't know how to swim. The woman introduced herself as a doula since 1968. She left the water to do something. I decided to practice since I was by myself. I told her I am not a water person. I didn't want my head submerged. Then I got in and practiced swimming. And we're running out of time here, but at least I've covered this dream. So 1968, we have the 9 coming up again. This is your way of getting on the Dharmic path. We look at all the numbers individually. 1 is, this is your path, individual, it's about you. 9 says this is your last necessary earth life. In fact, you don't have any. You came here as a guide to help other people. So 9s are going to show up in your dreams. 6 says you're on the Dharmic path, or get onto the Dharmic path, and that's how you're going to expand yourself, which is what the 8 is about. You don't want to get your head submerged. That's fine. You don't want to really get into all of this stuff, but you will. It's impossible for you to avoid it. That's it. Online course next week, starting on Sunday. If anybody's interested, look up the website. Thank you very much.